Hey Touch lovers, we're talking touch with T. We here at Queensland Touch Football, we'll be looking to keep you up to date with our weekly chat covering all things being the game and our upcoming events throughout the state. And I have with me special guest Phil Gyemore. Phil, how are you?
Good, Tristan. Good. Another touch tournament, so seeing plenty of familiar faces, so good to be here.
Mate, we love it. You've been involved in touch footy for a long time. We're today talking specifically about the Cowboys Touch Football Program that you've been involved in since...
So we go back about 6 years.
Oh, awesome.
So it's been a long time.
Excellent.
Lots of memories, experiences, challenges, sacrifices, but very rewarding experiences in that time. So it's gone quickly and something, it's been enjoyable to be around a good group of young men.
Excellent, mate. So how did you get involved with the Cowboys? I mean, I understand you're based on the Sunshine Coast?
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, so based on Sunshine Coast, living and working in a great part of the state, Sunshine Coast. So currently teaching at Chancellor State College, and prior to that we spent some time in Brisbane at another touch school, that being Cavendish Road, really close to Whites Hill. Mm-hmm. Before we come down to the southeast corner, we spent time in Rockhampton.
There we go, there's the connection.
So from uni, getting up into Rockhampton late 90s.
Yep.
And getting a feel for touch up there. I played a little bit myself, obviously down here at uni, but wasn't until we sort of got to Rocky and how passionate and how keen people were in touch that it, sort of gave us an opportunity to do a few things to see what was possible at the time. So that's where it started. We were in Rocky for about 6 or 7 years. Okay,
you and the family?
Yeah, the whole family. So, well, when I say whole family, just my wife Janine and I there at the time.
Yep.
We did have our eldest, Jamin.
Excellent.
The year that we were leaving Rocky. Mm-hmm. So he's a born in Rocky.
Okay.
From the nursery, as some people might say, from there. But so that's where it started, and obviously wanted to come down the southeast corner, be closer to family and other things down here. So
gotcha.
Yeah, that's where a few things started.
So the Cowboys program started as the Hustlers?
No, it was the Outlaws.
Oh, the Outlaws, that's the one. Sorry, the Outlaws. Cool.
So it was the Outlaws, and they were the red and yellow uniforms that they were wearing proudly with the outlaw image on the chest.
Gotcha.
And that was only for a little while before Queensland then embraced the NRL, and through the NRL partnership and touch, went from Outlaws to Cowboys. We now have the Titans, we now have the Broncos. So
gotcha.
We only had 1 year as the Outlaws before we became the Cowboys, and that's where we are today. Okay,
and the wheels turn. So talk me back to your sort of first year with the Cowboys program. Who did we have in the program back then? Who was leading the way?
Yeah, so some boys that are still involved now. Mm-hmm. So some key people at the time were Daniel Withers, Dave Zanetti, Tim Villalba as a part of the coaching staff, Justin Mitchell, Trevor Moran.
Okay.
Some people that have been around the sport for a long time.
Yep.
Still enjoy the sport, but knew that there's some things that were never done from that part of the state in terms of anything at a national level, and that being Elite Eights.
Okay.
Hadn't been in a final, let alone thought about winning, but thought maybe there's a few things we can do to see where we can go.
Yeah, gotcha. So, I spoke to a couple of the Rocky boys that come out of the QSST 18s and asked them, what is it about Rocky Touch? Like the Rocky boys, there seems to be a family there, a brotherhood, a bond. And they said that it's the old guys take us under their belt, and they don't, have to, they choose to.
Yeah.
And the young guys come in, and it's a definite fatherhood and brotherhood top down.
Yeah.
And I see that in the Cowboys program as well.
Absolutely. Like when you say taking young players under their wing, when I moved to Rocky late 90s, I played, and that was with Gavin Shuker, still heavily involved in touch, as we know Shukes.
Oh yeah.
He's not as mobile. He's got some wheels to help get him around. That's a different story. We don't have enough time for that one. However, Dave Zanetti, in my time up there, Dave Zanetti, who was living in Bundaberg, came into the CQ Bulls region as a 16-year-old. Was in youth and things like that. Peter Robertson had him as one of his players through Wide Baseball Sport.
Okay.
So he was 16.
Yeah.
And when he comes in at 16, he's still there now.
Yep.
he knows where the young boys were.
Yeah,
and
gotcha.
were the results like they are now? No, they were completely different.
Yeah.
But enough of enjoyment and challenge and work ethic and friendship amongst the group to go, let's do it again.
Awesome.
And so the reason, I think one of the many reasons that the older boys look after the young ones and take them under their wings, because they were there once. And
Yeah,
they had
gotcha.
other boys that were trying to do the right thing, giving them a little bit of belief and just giving them a little bit of guidance to see where they can grow.
Yeah, gotcha. So the Elite 8 season starts for the first time, you know, and you've got the Cowboys for the first time, so they're coming under the banner. How did you go about building that first team and building that team culture?
Yeah, having boys that had been to an Elite 8 or an NTL or
Yep.
in all the different formats and the way that the sport was moving, they'd had a taste of what success was with some games and certain wins against some really strong regions.
Yep.
But certainly didn't have consistency. So enough of the positivity to think that there might be a chance of something being better and bigger as we move forward. So
Gotcha.
the key to that in any sport is if you can have some people that are committed as a core group to work really hard and do it over a period of time, that would certainly help. If they're getting enough of the right information and buy-in, doing things together, well, there's a start. So when I mentioned Tim Villalba, he played for Cyclones, he played for NQ, the Rustlers days, and then the coming together. So it's having good people around, of course.
Yeah.
The ones that know what it's like and what the experience is like to, help out. So, and Daniel Withers and Dave Snetti, 20 years plus out of Nationals.
Oh, there you go.
So before we even get to an NTL,
Yep.
they know they're not going to be around forever, but there's still some things that we haven't achieved and can work towards. So, it's having good people there and having buy-in and belief in it and a hell of a work ethic.
Yeah, gotcha.
So a couple of key things there. Key people.
Okay. So, I mean, talking through Elite 8 moving into Premiership, Elite 8, you were successful 3 years?
3 years in a row.
Yep.
I was fortunate. The first time that we were Outlaws, we played Mavericks.
Yep.
And unknown territory for us to get to the final.
Yep.
And because we played Mets on field 2 at Coffs in the semi.
Okay.
And beat them 12-9.
Oof.
So high scoring and the
Yeah.
semis are tough. And I know going into the final against Mavericks, which we ended up winning 7-4, but we, as a part of our prep, would always warm up and get everything done out near the hockey fields, the old hockey fields
Yeah,
out
okay.
at the back
Yep.
of Coffs. We'd always
I know where you
be
are. Yep.
there or out on the side.
Yep.
But for the final, and it became, if we were good enough, it became a bit of a habit towards the end, but we would go and warm up on the other side of the stadium across from the car park.
Okay.
And it was, we earned the right to warm up on this field because we're in the final.
Yeah, gotcha.
And then we'll go to the dressing room and yes, we'll change some things up just to give it a little bit of a special feeling.
Yep.
Have someone like Daniel Withers as the captain, one of our leaders, talk to the boys before they're going to get out there and work together and buy in and
Bit of a captain's
work
chat.
really hard. So it was a captain's chat and we
Yep.
go and line up and we go and do that thing. So
Gotcha.
the first time was lucky
Yep.
in terms of unknown territory and we had a win. I had a parent that of one of the boys saying, "Oh, are you going to stop now?" I said, "You're 1 from 1. It's 100%. You don't need to go again. We've got a title. It's taken so long. We got one." Everyone's really emotional. The second Elite 8 was the one we got washed out for a day.
Okay, yep.
So we had two more games to play before you go to top 4.
Gotcha.
So most teams are still around or are going to possibly be in the top 4.
Yep.
But because it washed out, they had to revise everything. And then so everyone went to a quarter.
Yeah. All 8 of them.
And all 8 went to quarters.
Yep.
And we went down. We went down to Mavericks.
Yep.
And yeah, that was hard to take. You know, we won it one year, and we thought we were in pretty good shape going into that year. We're beaten.
Yep.
And then, we sort of gave us a bit of a reality check and went, okay, we need to change some things. We need to, we weren't happy with that.
Yeah, that's right.
Weather's one thing, we can't control it, but we can control what we do as a team.
Yep.
And how we prepare and things like that. And then we were lucky to go 3 in a row.
Awesome.
And, play Mavericks again, play Sharks in one final, and then play Mavericks again.
Mm.
So...
And then Mavericks one was a hot game. I remember that one.
It was.
And
Mavericks are really, really good. They're a smart team. They've got good coaching staff.
Yep.
But I think what they have learnt is that when it comes to Elite 8, there is no shortcuts at all, and a lot of the work needs to be done before you even get there. You can have the fantastic game plan. You can have all those things through the tournament, but all the work before you get there is most of the battle.
Yeah,
in terms of knowing 4 days of touch. Yep. Can you play the way you want to? Can you run out a game? Can you do the little things really, really well to give yourself a chance?
Yeah, gotcha.
And so doing the work off the field, it certainly helps. Yeah. And if you're not doing the work, you can't hide. You've got to be consistently good at Elite 8 for 4 days.
Yeah.
Can every team have a good couple of days or a couple of good games? Yeah. But if you want to be anywhere near the final, getting to semis and having a good fitness base, good team, good balance, you got to put all that package together. So, some teams work harder than others, and I know Mavericks are a team that certainly towards the end of the Elite 8 as to what we know it. Yeah, they were doing a lot of work off the park, and it showed. They had the legs to play a really good brand of footy.
Yep. Queensland used to have the Elite 8 camps, and I know twice I went to the Elite 8 camp.
Yeah.
And I saw Sunday midday, Broncos and Titans sign off and head home.
Yeah.
And Cowboys are out the backfield doing fitness.
Yeah.
And I saw it and I took notice of it, and it mentally, I parked that in my mind, mate, and it made a real difference for me.
Yeah, and it's no secret now that we've got boys based in different parts of the state. Whether it be Cairns, Townsville,
Brisbane.
Rockhampton, Brisbane, they're all Cowboys players, but we get together, which is good. You catch up and have a laugh and see what's going on. Someone's now going to be a dad, or someone's going to be married. All those things which are life experiences, and you're happy to share it with your teammates.
Yep.
Because it's good spending time together, but we've got to make the most of a training weekend. But our weekends, when it was leading up into an Elite 8, was spent on welcome to camp, how's things been.
Yeah, gotcha.
We've got some testing to do.
Yeah.
Let's see who's been doing some work. Who is the fittest? Is it Sam Pearce? Is it Dave Zanetti? Is it Justin Credlin? Is it Jaden Bembo? It's showtime. And boys are competitive.
Yep.
We get that. You don't get to play Elite 8 or play a good brand of footy consistently if you're really competitive. And so that was how we started our camp.
Yep.
And it was game on. And it was we had teams within our Cowboys unit that would go, let's do this. A couple of senior and leaders within the group would take their group under their wing and really rip in and just push ourselves to see what we can do.
Awesome.
And lead by example. So that's how we started, and we had a lot of challenges, a lot of good times, a lot of laughs.
Yep.
But
you don't shy away from the hard work.
No,
that's right.
They know if you want to be a part of the Cowboys program, you had to be prepared to work and work consistently and train and push yourself to see what you can do.
Cool. So more recently, we've had the obviously inception of the NRL Touch Premiership. Last year, big surprise to the Cowboys in the first year in the pilot. You came a bit unstuck against the Broncos. That was a big surprise, and probably it's been a few years in the coming. Another wee wake up call for you guys.
Yeah, it was. With the Premiership and how good it is now. The Premiership, of course, with the expanded 8-team comp.
Yep.
When it was the pilot year, that was after the Elite 8.
That's
and
right.
for the boys, with all the prep and I'm not making excuses, of course, and the Broncos were too good and they ended up winning, which is fantastic for the Broncos.
Yep.
That it just showed that between when we played the Titans in Townsville and you have a break from Elite 8 and then you have a break between the Titans and the Broncos game, that if you're not doing the little things to maintain your fitness and keep your mind and everything in check, that when it comes to premiership 30 minutes of action, that if you've been taking some shortcuts in between, you know where to hide, because the intensity and the speed goes up. And if you haven't been doing some work, you're going to be unstuck. And the Broncos put it to us. We deserve to get the result that we got, and it wasn't a really good feeling. I haven't had that feeling before with a Cowboys team. And if unfortunately that's your last game, like it was for us last year, it means it's a really long time to get out there again and reset our standards and reassess some things. So it gave us an opportunity to sort of look at where we are. Elite 8 was fantastic. We missed the Elite 8. It was fantastic, 4 days of touch. But now we've got a new competition and a new challenge. Yeah,
wonderful. So, I mean, then how did you take last year's disappointment and turn it into, obviously, the success that we saw this year?
So the beauty of the Cowboys system and program for us is that the team we've had across 6 years, there hasn't been a lot of change. There's been a lot of the same players saying, I'm available, I'm keen to see what we can do, see what the challenge is. And the premiership doesn't suit us in terms of playing a game and then it's 2 or 3 weeks to play a game, it's 30 minutes, because you need to work on some things. You can't just turn up and play.
Yeah, that's right.
But what it meant for us is that we had to change a few things between our games, between getting together. So we had a camp up in Townsville, which is fantastic. And probably a chance to say thanks to North Queensland Touch and Townsville Touch and Queensland Touch for assisting and giving us a chance to train and spend time together, knowing this is the start of our campaign. And then we got into the season, and then we were lucky through the season that we ended up having a chance to go to Gladstone. So
that's right.
Shout out to Gladstone, because through their help and support and the juniors and the community, we had a chance to spend time together. Also give back to the juniors, and they were fantastic.
Awesome.
But it meant for us that we had to change a few things around what people were doing in between games.
Training programs.
I don't like surprises. When you don't see people. And it's like, I don't think he's been doing much work. So through, thankfully, the culture and the buy-in amongst the group is fantastic. And if there's a challenge and there's buy-in and there's good leaders amongst the group, then together we can get some work done.
For sure.
Things happen, of course. Life, that's life.
Definitely.
There's a challenge with different things. But, when you can make it a challenge and it's a competitive environment and you get together. We only had one training session prior to every game, but it's the work in between the games, what they had to do in their own backyard. Whether you've had a long day at work or it's raining or it's a little bit cold, work still needs to be done.
Mate. So 6 training sessions in total? For the whole premiership? Amazing.
So, meant, a few conversations with some leaders. It's some specifics around game plan, around what are we going to do to give ourselves a chance, what are the other team going to do. But because of good leaders and good experience amongst the group, it meant that I knew you were going to do some work and you're in Townsville. I'm going to do some work because I'm in Rocky and in Brisbane. Everyone knows they're going to do some work.
That's right.
Because if you're not doing the work, well, you might not play in that particular game. So work ethic's the key. Having good team balance is another important element. And we've been fortunate to have enough to have a lot of the same boys
stick with
share some good memories.
Nice, mate. So let's just get to, you've gone through the round robin of the premiership. We know we're in the final. Cool. You're coming up against the Knights. How was the preparation for that Knights game specifically? Now you knew you were coming up against a team that was in red hot form for the entire year. Very good coaching. Joel Willoughby, Carly Banks.
And the Knights team, they do play with a lot of flow, a lot of momentum, and they've got some really good players that can execute with some flow. So for us, we were fortunate to train the night before we were going to fly down.
Okay.
Which meant rather than training the day of,
Mm-hmm.
we could train the night before. So if we needed to do a little bit more,
Yep.
because we weren't happy with a few things, we could.
Yeah, gotcha.
And then we can go down to Sydney. We could try and soak up the atmosphere, and it's a very historic venue.
Yeah,
SCG.
it was awesome.
So sending the boys some clips and just saying, well, this is where we're going. You've earned the opportunity or the right to play at the SCG because of the challenges we've had along the way. And then it was, there's obviously got to be some analysis. There's some little clips with examples of saying, well, this is what they're going to try and get to.
Yep.
They've got a very good plan A, the Knights.
Yep.
And like every team, if
Yes.
you've got a really good plan A, if they can stay on plan A because they're getting success,
It's going to be tough.
it's going to be really tough. So we want to try and force them into a plan B,
Yep.
plan C, because their plan A's been so successful. You know, they had a lot of success against a number of teams.
Yep.
And yeah, we wanted to force them into changing their game plan.
Somewhere they are a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Okay.
and it's 30 minutes.
Yeah, mate, that's not long.
And you know, so if we can identify a couple of their structures and a few things where they would like to get in their plan A and make them uncomfortable, like you said, we'll give ourselves a chance. So for us, it was working on it really hard and smart when we don't have the ball,
Yeah, gotcha.
because everyone plays touch. Well, most people play touch. I know I used to play touch because you want to try and do things on the scoreboard. You want to attack and you want to throw the ball around.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, that's what
they want to do.
Let's
Yeah.
try and force them into a different place
Yeah, of course.
by working hard. We've always got an attacking team. Everyone's got an attacking team, but let's put a fair bit of emphasis on the other part of the game.
And that stuff takes a kind of belief in the playing team, you know, especially when they're not together as often as you. It takes those leaders like Z out there. It takes a guy in the box like Dan Withers.
Yeah.
You know, guys that it doesn't matter if it's the first minute or, 29th minute, they still believe.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Tough-minded people, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. So at the end of this season, you were able to come away with a bit of success in the first full NRL Touch Premiership.
Yeah.
What do you think the future holds for the Cowboys, program? Do we see Z again?
Oh, if you ask him, he'll say yes 3 times.
Yeah, awesome.
Before you even finish the question. You mentioned
There we go.
Cowboys and are you available?
Yep.
He'll put his hand up.
And we asked the players
So-
do you want Z? 100% they do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
So I would think that how the premiership takes shape next year,
Yep.
a little bit unsure as to how that may look.
Yeah, sure.
However, the Cowboys will be in good shape next year.
Mm-hmm.
People enjoyed the challenge this year and yes, had some success.
Mm-hmm.
However, if I'm not there for whatever reason,
Yeah, of course.
that happens,
Being the Emus Men's Open coach
Yeah.
now and big challenges for you. Yep, that's
there'll
right.
still be a lot of the core group there.
Awesome. Yeah, wonderful to hear.
That's coaching staff,
Of course.
That's senior leaders, and that's all the young crop of players. Like I'm seeing Cooper Marshall out here playing for his region.
Yeah.
And he's a premiership player,
That's right, mate. Yeah, ripping up.
and he's taking care of some young. It's just
Yeah.
part of a really big journey. So most of the Cowboys would be there,
Yep.
wanting to see what the next challenge is. But once again, catch up. See what things are going on.
See their mates.
How some of our team, how some of the teammates, kids are going.
Yeah, of course.
Good time to catch up. So they've got another memory.
Yep.
Which came on the back of a lot of hard work. But
Yeah, awesome.
Elite 8 is one challenge and Premiership was another. So it's been good to almost do it in 2 different formats. Is probably a credit to the boys that have been involved. So it's,
and
being a part of it.
I've seen it flow back through the CQ men's team this year. They did very well in NTLs coming off the back of, so these guys are taking all that stuff home with them. We're going to be very lucky to see Townsville come to the State Cup this year. And I know the Townsville men's team was full of Cowboys again. So those guys are proud, and then I think that's a bit of a top-down effect that's come from the Cowboys. I was honoured to be in the sub box, when you took on the Mavericks and the game went to a drop-off, and a small insight to your program and the, and the mentality and the composure that you sort of have with the players. Massive amounts of pressure and able to still come away with a W at the end of that game there. So I consider that to be a highlight of my coaching career as well, having been that close to your environment. So, it's been a pleasure, mate, watching the sort of Cowboys come along. It's been wonderful seeing the journey you took the boys on this year to get through with a clean sheet, mate, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you do with the Aussie Men's Open team moving forward. Yeah,
sounds good. I appreciate it.
Wonderful, mate. Thanks a lot for the chat, mate.
No worries.
We'll catch up again soon.
Look forward to it.
Well, that's a wrap. Thanks for tuning in to Talking Touch with T. Please do stay tuned for our next weekly chat.